parts of a highly anticipated report on whether former President Donald Trump and allies broke the law in their attempts to overturn his election loss were made public by a Georgia judge on Thursday. The report summarizes a 2-year grand jury investigation into their actions in Georgia in 2020. It says that the grand jury thinks some witnesses lied to the panel during their depositions. The introduction and conclusion of the report were also made public. The report, which was made public on Thursday by Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, stated that a majority of the grand jury believes that perjury may have been committed by one or more of the witnesses testifying before it. A further recommendation from the grand jury was for the county's district attorney to seek appropriate indictments for such crimes where the evidence is compelling. There have been no formal charges filed against Mr. Trump or any of his associates to date. Indictments cannot be issued by the special grand jury, but they can suggest charges be filed. In the history of the U.S., no former president has been charged. The grand jury reportedly found by a unanimous vote that no widespread fraud took place in the Georgia 2020 presidential election that could result in overturning that election, rejecting the former President Donald Trump's false allegations that the election had been rigged. In its investigation into Mr. Trump and his allies' post-election behavior, the special grand jury, which disbanded in January, spoke with dozens of witnesses and notable Republicans, including Mr. Trump's former personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani, Republican Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. In Georgia, President Joe Biden defeated Mr. Trump by a margin of 11,779 votes in 2020. An hour-long phone call between Mr. Trump and Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State for Georgia, in January 2021 served as the impetus for the grand jury investigation. During the call, Mr. Trump requested that Mr. Raffensperger find him the votes he would need to overturn the outcome. Over time, the investigation has grown to cover false allegations of election fraud made to state legislators as well as a plot to send an alternative slate of Republican electors who gathered at the Georgia Capitol and falsely declared Mr. Trump had won the state of Georgia by signing statements. Fact-checking on Donald Trump's phone call regarding the Georgia election. An investigation into the Georgia election has Rudy Giuliani as a target. The grand jury investigation has been referred to as a political witch hunt by Mr. Trump, who continues to contest the results of the 2020 presidential election. He also described his conversation with Mr. Raffensperger as perfect.